Yep, I've been feeding ChatGPT my journal entries, core values, and deepest insecurities. What it's been responding with has been incredibly uncomfortable, but it's been better advice than I've gotten from real people. But I have to caution you because what I realized is that there's a right way and a wrong way to use AI for self-coaching. If you don't guide it properly and ask the right questions and prompts, I find you kind of just spin in circles with generic advice. And so in this video, I want to break down the exact systems and prompts that I'm using to help me turn mental friction into real, actual behavior change, because that is the key. And so I'll share with you the same process that you can use to get brutally personalized advice for your own life. Let's dive in. If you've clicked on this video, you've already made the right step, because identifying our core identity misalignments, limiting beliefs, deep insecurities is not a comfortable activity. It's not something that our brains want to do, and so we're more likely to avoid doing it. And so in this video, I want to give you kind of a system that you can use to wade in to this process without feeling overwhelmed. But I do want to start with there's likely two categories that you're in. You either know what you're being limited by, and it's just a matter of turning those into actual behavior change actions. Or the second camp, which is more like what I've been in the past couple of weeks, is you kind of have some points of friction. You kind of can identify some procrastination, but you need more clarity on what the actual root issues are. And so if you fall into the first camp, you could skip ahead in the video here. But if you're in the second camp, this starts with just identifying points of mental friction in our lives. This is unfortunately something that we have to do ourselves with self-awareness and introspection. And so I do want to get into the ChatGPT prompts and system as quickly as possible, but this is not something that ChatGPT can really help you with. ChatGPT and AI need context, they need data, they need stories, they need evidence so that they can pull the patterns through and identify those and bring those to the surface for you. And so the past couple of weeks, for me personally, I've been doing this big business strategic pivot, and I've been trying to send a lot of outreach, do a lot of cold outreach. And I've been feeling a lot of procrastination and wanting to avoid doing the work. It's been a lot of mental struggles and kind of anxiety. And I've been starting with Instagram voice DMs and personalized Loom outreach messages. And what has started to uncover the friction for me, and hopefully you can kind of see this in your own life, is this kind of difference between expectations and reality. And so I've set out, okay, I want to send 200 DMs in a month or whatever. And so in 1 week, I decided, let me start with, I want to send 10 outreach messages. And over the course of maybe 2 weeks, the first week I sent 4 messages, and the second I sent just 1. And so as I was kind of reflecting on this, and I passed this information into ChatGPT using my daily plans, my weekly plans, and started to realize that there's this mismatch between expectations and reality. And so this has become a symptom of a problem. And so the first part of this is to identify these points of friction, identify where you're procrastinating, what work you're avoiding, where you're feeling mental friction in your life, to identify these kind of symptom level problems and to write them down so that we can give this context to ChatGPT. Once we've identified these kind of symptom level, surface level points of friction in our life, we can actually start to use AI to dive deeper and dive into the root level issues and questions that we have. And so what I like to do is create a context document in my note that I can pass to ChatGPT and continue to refine with new prompts. And so I want to share an example of that with you right now. here in ChatGPT, I have this is one of my systems that I use weekly. Is this accountability coach GPT project. I have this as my prompt. I'll put this in the description so you don't have to copy it down. But basically, what I've been doing is I follow this 12-week year goal setting system, and so in my Obsidian, I have notes for my 12-week year goals and my weekly note plans. I have, business, strategic, context, as well as daily plan notes. And I also pass in previous accountability feedback. But I want to show you, example of what I'm actually doing here. And so like this, I pass it all of this information, and then I just say, I just finished this past week. What kind of personalized insights can you pull from this last week? And so it uses the context that I've given it to pull out the insights. And this is where I started to realize this kind of perfectionism and overanalyzing root level issue. And so that is the goal here, is to start to identify these root level issues. Now I want to show you another example of a system that I'm using here. During my strategic pivot of my business, I documented this system that worked incredibly well for me. And I want to walk you through as another example of creating context that we can give to ChatGPT. That is the goal. So we're starting with symptoms, friction points, procrastination points, writing those down. And then at this stage, we need to give ChatGPT more context, more stories, more evidence, more data that it can use to pull these patterns through with the objective of identifying these root level problems. So with that kind of lens and perspective, I want to share with you, I will link this in the description that you can use, so you can just copy paste all of these. But I have this is what I used as my context doc. Background, who you are, interests, passion, drive, goals, short-term, long-term, inspiration, constraints, challenges, what your current approach is, strengths, weaknesses, core values, information about your business, metrics, competitors, other opportunities, time, energy, breakdown, issues, questions, and requests. This is really important to help organize your thoughts about start to pinpoint what exactly are the issues, what exactly are the questions, the responses that you have from the prompts and responses that you're getting back from ChatGPT. And so as you integrate these surface level symptoms, points of friction, procrastination, now, this can look overwhelming for you. It can be to do all in one go. But this is an accumulation of multiple, send a prompt, get a response, add more context, edit the message, resend, get more context, add more to this context. The more that you can give it, the better, and the more personalized. And so you can just follow this system that I have in this document. Start by asking for context gaps with your symptoms, your points of friction, procrastination. Then start to list key questions and issues that you have, and then just follow these iterative prompts. These stars I found are really good. Ranking the most pressing and impactful issues, reading between the lines, optimizing for money, or playing devil's advocate. These are really good to help you start to uncover these root level issues, and then deep diving as well has been super helpful. So you can take a look at this document in the description. But again, I want to come back to the objective is we have surface level symptoms, points of friction, procrastination. Then we're using that to create more context, to pull more data, pull more evidence, take more journal entries, and give ChatGPT enough information that it can pull patterns together. And so the next part of this is identifying the core root issues. A couple of days ago, I did a journaling session using this context document with ChatGPT, passing my document and asking some of these specific questions. And I want to share with you, now we're starting to get to the root level issues. So if we look at this, I have this "What are all my current limitations" document. I will again paste these prompts in the video description. But now we're getting more targeted to deep level rooted insecurities and core problems using context. So rather than ChatGPT just like pulling things out of thin air, it can quote from your actual data and prompt. And so, I have what objective are my limitations? What patterns are you noticing? Make it crystal clear for me. And so this first part, I want to share with you a little bit of vulnerability here with the perfectionism and kind of overanalysis that I was identifying from these sending outreach DMs. I like this breakdown of, as I've kind of continued to repeat in this video, of this is just, title, but what is the symptom? What is the point of friction, the procrastination? Like, what does it look like? What does it manifest? How does it manifest in your life? And then what does it stem from? What's the root issue? And then this second part here is asking, what are the counter forces? What are the mindset shifts? How can we gamify this to actually change this identity level, misalignment or limiting belief, and rebuild the new identity. So once we've started to kind of organize this information, we have a context doc and we have these kind of takeaways of limiting beliefs, symptoms, how they're manifesting in our life, and then what the root issues, what they're stemming from. I want to talk a little bit more about the actual takeaways that we can use, because rather than just like continuing to ChatGPT, like what are my issues and what about this and this, we need to translate these into actual behavior change actions that we can take in order to actually fix these problems, And so I want to talk about kind of more of these counter forces. What exactly is behavior change, right? What we need is either a new thought pattern based on stimulus. So we're in an environment. We're sitting down. We're about to send a message. There's some kind of environment stimulus. We either need a new thought pattern, a new belief, a new thought pattern, or we need to actually change our behavior in some way. So based on a particular environment stimulus, we need to take a different action. So there's new mental reframe, thought pattern, or there's a new action. Those are, I think, the two ways we can actually make change here. And so when we're asking ChatGPT for how to actually fix these, I found look and ask for three different things. New mental reframes. What thought pattern can I change here that I can start to reinforce? The second is setting specific new daily or weekly habits that you can track over the weeks and over your days. Or the third is rewarding and logging new actions that you can document as you go throughout life. So as an example for this outreach DM example, I had refined my strategy to, rather than personalizing based on and sending voice notes and Loom messages, to instead just accept text DMs and go from there. And so I changed my weekly plan goals to, rather than sending personalized messages, to send text messages. And another thing has been social exchanges, with this kind of fear of rejection, to reward small social exchanges initiated, to reward those behaviors, to log them and track them in my weekly notes. Talked about this in my gamifying social skills video that I'll link below. The last part of this is accountability, because we can refine in ChatGPT and get all of this information. We can also change get these new mental reframes and get these new actions, log habits, log actions, and document them. But the last piece of this is, and this is what makes a great coach, is getting the accountability. And so I want to go back to this weekly accountability coach prompt and project in ChatGPT that I showed you. So in my accountability coach project, as I showed you, I have all of these project files and the instructions. Basically every week, I upload my new week and my daily plans from that week, and I follow these prompts to get me more ideas of what's working, what's not working, what do I need to tweak, and get that actual accountability of expectations to reality, which is what we started with, right? This is what I want to do, and this is what actually happened. And, you can do that yourself, or you can have the accountability of someone else, either a coach or in this case, ChatGPT, doing it for you and showing you that, hey, you wanted to send 10 DMs this week, but you only sent 5 or 4, whatever. And getting that accountability, these prompts have helped me a lot in identifying that feedback, getting that feedback, and being able to refine this system. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. If you're actually serious about making a change, I would highly recommend you check the Google Doc link and actually go through each step, write out as much as you can, because the more context that you give it, the more personalized it can be, and the more personalized it will be in pulling quotes directly from your context rather than just giving generic advice. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram. Would love to help. Let me know if you found this interesting or useful. I can dive even deeper. And that's all I have for you. Best of luck, and I will see you in the next one.